Well, hello and welcome. There have been some new people, and I'm very excited to welcome you, as I'm excited to welcome those people who have been loyal members and subscribers to my channel. I'm Mary Bourne. I'm a traditional naturopath, and I love sharing natural remedies with people. I have several types of videos on my channel. I have Gardening with Granny, where I do gardening work and I show you different plants and flowers that I'm working with, and all things gardening, basically. And then I have the Help to Home, and basically this is a chit chat. It's my very first chit chat for Help to Home, and if you like it, I hope that you put a like, a thumbs up, or a comment on it, and how I can improve it to make it more interesting. Help to Home is a time where I share with you different herbs that help people. Basically, things that you may even have in your own kitchen that you don't even know, that benefit health and how they benefit health, that you've been using basically on a daily basis. Or I even have a video on black pepper. Yeah. So these are subjects that I feel that most people are not aware of, whether you are a gardener or whether you are a homemaker, whatever your life choice of career is. You can have many careers. You don't have to be, this is who I am. You can be, this is who I am. And the third thing that I have on my channel is called Herbal Hour. Now, in these presentations, it does take an hour, and I'm generally going over the systems of the body, how the body works, and how you can be healthier by knowing how the body works and what you can do to maintain it, keep it healthy. So those are the three areas. Now, I decided to do a chit chat because I wanted to share with you some of the things that I don't do on camera. July, which is coming right around the corner here, I will be 80. And so things have changed throughout the years. How I garden has changed, how I learned more about health and how I implemented in our own food choices and menus. Throughout the years, we've been given information, and that information isn't always true. It is often driven by commerce and industry, and it isn't necessarily the best information for our health. And what I feel is good information about health is tried and true, things people have done for generations and have maintained health through this. So what I'm going to share with you are things that I didn't always know about good health. I learned, but I also did research on, and I encourage everybody to do their research. And so at the beginning of the month, it was hot and dry. And actually, the end of May was the beginning of it, Memorial Weekend. And this was not the best time for your sprinkler system to go down. I had bunches of stuff planted, and my husband and I were desperately watering things, trying to keep them alive. We had such a drought time here in Michigan, and throughout the country, I've heard that was so, that there were weeks, even months without water. And those places that we know as dry areas were getting water, like California. So it was like, wait a minute here, the country is flip-flopped. Places that were usually hot were getting cool temperatures. We were getting hot temperatures, and normally in May and June, it's cool temperatures. We're not warming up yet. In fact, my rule of thumb for planting is that most of the planting is done between Mother's Day and Father's Day. And we had really hot weather. So like lettuce was bolting, forget spinach. We never had a spinach season this year because it just was too hot for spinach. My ranunculus fried. So it was a really interesting spring. Now there's theories out there that our weather is being controlled. I'm not going to go into that. I want to stay on task, so I wrote myself a note here. So we have a cherry tree that is, well, it was knocked down. A branch grew out of it. Now the branch is the only thing that's growing from the cherry tree. And due to that very hot weather, we did not have the plump cherries that we normally get from this tree. They were half the size that they normally are, but of course the pit is going to be the same size as it always is. And so I noticed when I was out planting that the birds were really active in the tree. And my husband is the one that gets out there on a ladder and picks the cherries, and I'm the one that makes the jam. Well, what we picked, I looked at it and I said, there's no way we can pit these and make jam out of it. And so I washed them and I threw them in a pot, I mashed them down, and I made juice, and it only made 2 pints of juice. And that is not enough to make jelly with. And so I went to the store and I bought pitted cherries. They were surprisingly not that expensive. It was $10 for the bag, and the bag made cherry jam, or well, I made cherry jam from the bag. And so this is the lovely cherry jam that I made from those cherries. And I am not afraid to purchase things. Now, I would rather purchase organic, but cherries are not the type of thing where they spray a lot of. They're an early season crop. People do not have to worry too much about pests. And so they're not heavily sprayed. So then I did a video on dehydrating chive blossoms, sage blossoms, and they were lovely. These were freeze-dried chive blossoms that we have a freeze dryer. These are some of them are the chive blossoms, but they're breaking apart, so I'm not sure I can pick apart it, but you can see in there. So I have sage blossoms and the chive blossoms. And I did a video on how to make vinegar. Chive vinegar is getting more and more popular, and I'm very glad, because most of the time the chive blossoms are ignored, and actually they're the seed head. And so if you don't pull off the chive blossoms, the plant feels like it's done its job, it's gone to seed, it's propagated, and it's time to die down. So cutting those back is really a good idea, but using them is a better idea. So we have some lovely vinegar, and it brewed for a little over 2 weeks. It can go 10 days to 2 weeks, and you have to shake it every day. And I got busy with other stuff, and the next thing I knew was, oh, I got to do my chive vinegar. So the other day I put out a decanting video, and I'll link that in the description below, of both making the vinegar and decanting it. And this is what the decanted vinegar looks like. And it's just a beautiful vinegar. And it's nice for like a base for salad dressings. I used it last night with chicken marinade. Excuse me. Take no water. So there's lots of things that you can do in a freeze dryer. I feel like it was one of the best investments ever. The nutritional value of freeze-dried food is much higher than frozen food even, or dehydrated food, and much higher than canning. Canning, you lose a good part of the nutrition of the food. It has its benefits because it allows you to preserve a lot of things. But when you pressure can, you are losing a great deal of the nutritional value. Now, some things are, when you cook them, you break down the cellular wall and make the nutrition much more available. Some things that when you cook them, you lose a good portion of the nutrition. So it really depends on the food. These are chives that I chopped up, and I can pulverize this and make a chive. I add rock salt, or not rock salt, but large crystal sea salt, and make a chive salt out of it. And you can add other dried herbs to it to make it a seasoning salt. You can draw oregano and parsley and basil and make it an Italian seasoning salt. You can do all kinds of seasoning salts with that. My sister had an abundance of parsley, so I went over and she picked a bunch of parsley, and so we have some lovely freeze-dried parsley that I can pulverize and make, or we can use it as it is and crumble it up. When you put the dried herb in your hand and use your hands to crumble it up, you're mixing the oils of your hands with that herb, and you're breaking it up and making that aroma more available in the food that you're putting it in. So that was fun. This is a mixture of other herbs that I have freeze dried. Our freeze dryer has been going gangbusters. A friend of my husband's wife gave him a bunch of rhubarb. Well, I don't grow rhubarb. I wanted to. I looked at a plant at the farmer's market and went on to do some other shopping, came back and somebody had purchased that one plant. It's the thing, like, I should put this in my cart. And then you forget about it and, lose out. So next year, there's always next year in gardening. So I freeze dried some rhubarb, and I'm excited to be working with that. I'm going to cook with it. There's some savory dishes that you can do with rhubarb, and I'm excited to look at the recipes that I've been collecting and choose. I would also like to make a barbecue sauce. Of course, I love strawberry rhubarb pie, but unfortunately, our strawberries are not producing. So that's another story. If you look at my green stalk video, you'll see why. Other herbs that I've dried, are actually flowers that I've dried, are the chamomile. I've been collecting them with the calendula, and I like the freeze-dried ones better. They seem to retain the aroma so much better than dehydrated. I have both. I have dehydrated and I've freeze-dried. And in most cases, I prefer the freeze-dried. And I understand it's an investment and it's something that you really need to pay attention to. This is still June, and in the month of June, Harvest Right is having a sale. They don't have them very often, and you can go to harvestright.com and check it out. The sale is up to $500 off of a freeze dryer. So check it out. I don't have a code for you per se, but you can find it just by going to the website. So I like to use my own fresh dried herbs, freeze dried herbs, in a lot of my cooking. I feel that the benefits of these foods are better when they are captured right after harvesting and preserved as soon as you can. So some of the other things is there's always a lot of work to be had when you're gardening. There's always areas that you can see weeds coming up, or you have a hole that needs to be filled in with some herb or plant or whatever. My garden our gardens are always in a state of flux. It's only like right after you're done weeding that they look really good. That next day, there's always something. So appreciate the beauty. Always spend time while you're gardening to breathe and look at the beauty and appreciate what God has given us on this earth and the many varieties and riots of color that we are gifted with every single day. So now we're in a season where we are inundated with rain. When it rains, of course. Well, last night it poured. So I haven't been out in my garden yet, and I haven't inspected. But these are the times when you're grateful for supporting the tomato plants and doing the prep work that you did earlier to protect your plants from wind and heavy rain. So that I went to the market and last Saturday, and there was a gentleman there who raised grass-fed beef and heritage pigs and chickens, and his little boy was with him, and we had a delightful conversation. I bought some beautiful meat from him, and I also bought a big thing of fat to make into leaf lard. Now, I've never done this before, but I've seen several videos on it, and it was a little bit challenging. I processed the fat, because I heard smaller pieces the better, through my food processor on the big grate. What a mess that was to clean up, but I'm glad I did it. I ended up getting 2 jars of this wonderful leaf lard. Now, I am not a pie baker. I kind of shy away from making pies, My sister, on the other hand, is a fabulous pie baker. And so, it's one of those goals that I have. And I heard that a leaf lard makes an excellent pie crust. So I'm going to try and use my own home rendered, somebody else grew. We have no animals on our property, except those that kind of filter in, like the geese and next door neighbors' dogs. But we don't have any chickens or pigs or anything like that. So we buy our meat. Actually, every 3 months I get a shipment from Butcher's Box, and I love their meat. We have been very, very satisfied with Butcher's Box. And I can put a link in the description below for you to check it out. I've gotten whole chickens from them. I love making bone broth, and now I can make leaf lard. We'll see, that big thing of fat, when I rendered down, made 2 of these, and I think that's like 2 cups, or 2 cups of, maybe more, maybe 8, 10 ounces each. And that's pushing yourself to do stuff that you normally are timid about is a great idea. And I think this age of YouTube and videos and being able to learn so much, I consider myself a learner teacher. I'm constantly learning, and I love to teach. And a lot of people are that way. As soon as they learn something, they want to teach it. And that's really the best way to learn, is when you're teaching somebody. When I was going through my training for naturopathic degree, whatever I was learning, I did a class on. And it helped me to, in a deeper level, learn what I was doing. And maybe that's a good tip for you to, when you're doing something, learn it with the thought that I'm going to teach it. And you really learn it at a different level. Well, I hope that this has been a fun video for you, that you've learned some stuff. I'm happy to share with you some of the things that I've done off camera, and ways that I'm helping my husband and I stay healthy in our octogenarian time of our life. So until next time, this is Dr. Mary. The name of my company is For the Health of It, so I usually end with For the Health of It. And if you have some suggestions, please comment. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, and please share it with other people that may need to have some information about how they can use different things. I'm not exactly a cooking video, but I can tell you some of the things, and there are plenty of recipes online. I got mine from online. So until next time, this is Dr. Mary, for the Health of It.